you clicked on this video, then you're probably an editor struggling with productivity. So that's why in this video we're gonna talk about some of the most advanced editing tips. But let's quickly cover some of the basic stuff that you need to get down before heading to the advanced stuff. So make sure you get 8 hours of sleep, maybe 9. If you don't get that, just click off this video. There's no point in watching it if you're not gonna sleep. Now let's move on to more advanced stuff like diet. So as a baseline, you wanna eat clean, but we can get better than that. If you're in a season where productivity is your priority, you wanna get on something that's called the carnivore diet. Let me give a disclaimer. If you're bodybuilding like I am, this is gonna kinda slow down your progress, but you wanna make sure you know which season you're in. If you wanna build muscle, don't get onto this. Yeah, for bodybuilding you need a lot of carbs, but for editing you wanna eliminate those. Let me explain how carbs affect your productivity. So there's something called the glycemic index. This is a bit nerdy, but I promise you're gonna understand. When you eat carbs, your glycemic index, which is kinda correlated to your energy levels, is gonna have an all-time peak, and like 10 or 20 minutes after that it's gonna go below baseline. So that means you're gonna feel so tired and you're probably gonna wanna take a nap while you're editing. So that's no good. That's why to avoid this crash, you wanna eat just protein and fats, which don't cause that peak, but then you won't even have to experience the down. So that's a pretty good trade-off for me. Your energy levels are gonna be stable. No peaks, but no tiredness. The tiredness also like lasts for 45, 1 hour, even more, because carbs take more than 1 hour to digest, so you're gonna be dead for the rest of the day. Don't do that. Of course, if you're in a productivity season. If you don't trust me, just give it a try, bro. Tomorrow or today, if you still haven't ate, don't eat anything or eat like a protein meal and try and edit. And while you edit, like 20 minutes into the session, just munch on some oats or some carbs. You're gonna see that you're gonna start getting 25% dumber. So my diet for these seasons is eggs, meat, that is chicken and beef, sometimes pork maybe, butter, olive oil, cheese and milk. You can also add spices if you don't want your diet to be so bland. I'm gonna take the L on this. Fruit is just carbs, but before a workout or like a run, I like to have some carbs. But they won't last that long since I'll be back in like 2 hours and the effect will be gone. Just make sure you don't eat any carbs before you edit. That's the only problem. Now let's get to your setup. So for your mouse, you want to choose one that doesn't have that high of an input delay, because I've had mice with like 10 millisecond or whatever it is in scientific nerd shit, and it feels like so off. Just make sure like when you move your hand, it like moves immediately on the screen. Also make sure it's a good size for your hand. I have like pretty small hands and I have the Razer Viper Mini, and yeah, I love it. It's like perfect for my size. You can get one with side buttons. I don't really use them because all my shortcuts are on my keyboard, which I'm gonna get into later. Yeah, if you find them helpful, just get a mouse with side buttons. There's ones with like 10 mouse buttons and ones that have like a vertical scroll. I have a friend from Macedonia that told me that he liked it, so yeah, try those. For my keyboard, I use the Apple one. If you're on Mac, just get this one. It's like $120, but it's worth it, bro. Also, for your keyboard, make sure it has these function keys, because I use all of them. Like all my shortcuts are laid from F1 to like F6. If it wasn't for that, my editing workflow would be so off. Get rid of your 60% keyboard that you used to play Fortnite with and get like at least a TKL. And I don't know how comfortable blue switches are. If you feel like that they're getting annoying to click on, just get a membrane keyboard if you're a Windows guy. If you're on Mac, just get the Apple one. You have no choice on this one. Now let's talk about your monitor. So first of all, have it above eye level. I've heard from Dr. Andrew Huberman, it makes your brain function just like a bit more. I don't remember the exact science, but I mean, as long as you find it comfortable. If you don't, just like lower it, I guess. But make sure it's not below eye level. That could be annoying. Also, make sure you put it a bit further than you, so that you just need to move your eyes. Like you can look like this. You don't need to look like turn your whole head to like see what's happening on your monitor. Ultra wides, I'd strongly recommend them. I have the Samsung G8. It costed me like $800, but it's like the best investment I've made in my life. It will boost your productivity like insane. You're gonna see everything on the screen. For your desk, you don't have to go overboard with it. Just make sure it's not something annoying. I'll get my editor to put a picture right here. I had this shit. Now we use it as like a container holder outside on like the balcony. There was like an annoying ass bar that would get in the way of my legs. I couldn't even sit properly. So I was like hunched over and it was so annoying to work. I didn't notice that until I changed for another desk. It was like a regular desk, like 1 meter width, a bit more. And yeah, another thing you would like to have is like make sure your chair could fit inside of the desk, so you can get closer and like enter the desk, if you know what I mean, so that you don't have to hunch over to look at your keyboard and mouse. You can do what I did. I got a stand-up desk. I'm actually standing up right now to record this video, and I find it's pretty like good to be able to change like from standing to like sitting from time to time. It's a small investment. I put like $300 into it, but I think it's worth it. Now let's talk about your mindset and how you can actually get productive. Eliminate all of the distractions. So your phone, just turn it off. If you still find it to be tempting, just leave it in another room or something. Give it to your brother, I don't know. Just don't touch it. Another thing, don't open social media. Like, you can't check Twitter until you're done with your deep work block. That is also Discord. Even if your client is messaging, like 2 hours won't hurt unless there's an emergency. Another thing, turn off your phone's notifications. I haven't had the notifications on my phone for like 4 years now. And have I missed some important calls? Yeah, maybe like one every 2 years, sure, but was it worth it? Like 100%. This way it doesn't sap my focus like each time I'm trying to work. Lastly, for this topic, just make sure you're in a silent environment. If you're trying to get the most done, don't edit in a cafe. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, you can go to a cafe and act like you're important, go in the corner, drink your little latte, have a yappuccino with your friends, but you're not going there to work, you're just having some fun. And yeah, even if you're in your room, just don't have any noise around. Lock your door if your parents are annoying you like each time. I don't have to do this anymore, but they wouldn't understand back in the day. They would just enter my rooms, ask me some like dumbass question. They'll be like, how the fuck do I order this? I'm like, we can do that later, just get out my room, bro. Lastly, let's talk about coffee. Coffee is interesting. It could help you, but it could also not help you. It could disturb you. Let me explain. So let's look at it like a radar. So here on the sides you have your creativity, and here you're just focused. In the morning when you wake up, like, you're kind of like this. Creativity is on the side and focus is like right here. And in the morning when you wake up, you're like something like this. You're creative, yeah. But when you drink coffee, this like kind of closes and you can like tunnel vision. But if you struggle with your creativity, this is not a good idea. So yeah, use it when you need it. If you're editing an intro and you need like good ideas, probably don't start your morning with coffee. But if you're in the middle of the video and you're just trying to get shit done, that's when you can do it. But make sure you don't go overboard like I did once. I remember one time, it was like 1 AM and I was editing and I started getting paranoid. I was in fight or flight mode in my room and my heart was beating 20% faster. I was alone in my room, like, here, there's nobody around. I was not in danger. There wasn't even noise, like nothing was distracting me. I overdosed on coffee that day. I was probably on like half a gram of caffeine. And yeah, I was getting paranoid that night. I was listening to some song of a Macedonian singer who sadly passed away, but he had some good songs, so yeah. His name is Toshe Proeski. And yeah, I messaged my friend Lazar about it. And he was like, Kire, emotional creature. And then it hit me, bro. I was like, I drank 5 coffees that day, like what I was thinking. So yeah, learn from my mistakes, don't drink that much coffee. But anyways, that's it for these productivity tips for this video. If you want to get me as a coach to give you specific advanced tips like these according to your personal need, check out the link in the description. But anyways, if you don't want to do that, you can watch this video here.